since I've shown my face on Facebook and my platform because I've been so busy. But I still try to make time to post something biblical or, help somebody and give them a word of encouragement and just uplift a soul that's downtrodden or depressed and have anxieties. And I know what that's like. I relate to about every aspect of life because I've been through so much in this life. I'm only 39 years old, but I was raised in a broken home, around drugs and alcohol, and I know what it's like to be raised with one parent that's got mental disabilities, and a mother trying to do the best she can with what she's got, and having broken relationships, and a violent father, and him not really being there much, and it caused me to delve into drug use and alcohol use and other things in this life that I'm not proud of, but also at the same time I wouldn't have known or experienced those things, and I wouldn't have lived through it to gain the experience and truth that I bore those scars. And nobody's just going to listen to anybody that has no experience, and I feel like these days that this dark world needs somebody who's actually been through some things and come to the realization of what is most important in this life. And the struggles and the pains and the hurts and the traumas and the patterns of thinking, and there's a whole slew of things that people never even are aware of, and that's kind of what I want to do with this platform now, since Mark Zuckerberg said that he's going to meet the standards of X and cause it to be a free speech platform, which I have yet to see, Mark, because you keep censoring all my content, and it's monetized, and really I'm the one that put the work in over there, and don't you think I should get a little chunk of that? But it ain't about that, Mark. I'm not trying to sell you anything. But anyway, I really wish people would come to Christ and try the best that they can to acknowledge that we're not here on our own accord, that with all this complexity of DNA and being in this time-consumed vessel that we're in, and we're just not here by random chance, folks. Some people just need to turn off their television and stop watching this fake media and experience life a little bit instead of just existing nowadays. The men in this country have become so sissified that we can't even have the cojones to say to a person that is disrupted with cognitive distortion, whether they think they're a girl or a guy, or you're in an audience watching a man beat the heck out of a woman, where is our dignity as men when we stand by and let a man with his wang hanging out go into a woman's locker room or a women's dressing room or a women's urinal facility? Where's our dignity, man? Do we not got enough cojones these days to stand up for what's right, to be a man of our family these days? Yeah, I wasn't the greatest father, and I don't proclaim and profess to be the greatest and perfect thing that ever walked this earth, because I'll be the first one to tell you that I've got all kinds of charges on my back. I've been locked up 46 times. I'm a convicted felon, and still yet, I still suffice in the things that is of a moral code. And when our moral compass gets disrupted in this way, and we can't cut through and see the truth in things, well, there's only one absolute truth. There can't be a whole lot of truths. Nobody ever jumped straight out of a woman's womb and said, well, my genitalia doesn't exist. Well, that automatically tells me that God made me who I was for a reason, that I'm supposed to be with a woman. And somehow this world has got mixed up in trends and ideologies and idiocracy, and they don't have any common sense anymore. It's not very common. There's nobody is looking for truth, or they're just so conditioned of the mind that they think this is the reality and they think this is the way it really is, when the whole of America is just a propaganda machine for the masses and the whole world is screwed up. They don't really believe in anything that is concrete. And we have no real basis to build a foundation on for our children. I mean, we just give them a device and let that raise them. That takes the responsibility off of our hands, doesn't it, America? And just give them this, or this little futile thing over here that doesn't mean much. I can't show love because I wasn't shown any myself, kind of thing. You know, it's a sad reality what we've become on this earth as mankind. And it has nothing to do with your skin color. It has nothing to do with your creed or your tradition that man has set upon this earth to condition you with through social media and the fake news it's on, and because those things aren't happening in my neck of the woods over here. We get along quite well over here where I'm at, and you know, my neighbors know me quite well, and I'm not scared to tell you what I've been through and what's happened, because, you know, not everybody has the structure in their life that you had. And we are in no position to put ourselves on a pedestal and look down on our neighbor or anybody else and bear false witness against their name in any way, or ridicule them, or cause them to stumble in any way and cause them to sin. And you know, that's the problem with this world, is that if I don't wear what you wear and think what you think, then I'm some kind of insult to you. Well, we can agree to disagree on some things, because I like women, and I'm married, and I like kids and a family, and those types of things we've gotten away from, because we are a God-filled vessel on this earth, and the one that you're feeding, whether you know it or not, is good or evil, whether it be out of ignorance or knowing or unknowingly. And I grant you that a lot of these things are stemming from ignorance, and you just don't know what to do with yourself because you're not real happy with yourself, and there's not really anything in this world that's going to suffice to loving and caring like God would. And you keep trying to venture through this materialistic life, trying to fill a void that you cannot fill, because you were made for something greater than that thing that's going to burn up or rust. And it's really futile in our thinking to think that we got here on our own, with all the complexities of DNA and protons, neutrons, this energy itself, the molecular structures of whatever setting that we're in, these four walls. Now, if I just perceive that differently, I can change my attitude and my mood, and it doesn't really matter where I'm at, because I'm content in a condition. And it's the way you think about it. But some of us are still stuck in these worldly patterns, and we haven't come to realize any real truth, because we just take it for face value what the next man said, instead of doing any real research for ourselves. Now, grant you, yeah, I'm a convict, and yeah, I've been locked up many times. Some of it was my fault, and some of it wasn't. Some people just bear false witness on you and project whatever misery and hurt and pain they got at the time on you because you offended their little feelings. But I grant you this, I've always stood up for what I believed in, and that belief was truth, and this is a belief system. And I promised you I've always questioned everything, and the truth is stranger than fiction, and it takes a lot more faith to believe in aliens and politics and all these man-made things and traditions than it does to believe that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead. Now, that's the heart of the gospel. is that he came and died for sinners, and that he wasn't here just to please man, but he became a sword to separate those beliefs from mother and father, sister and brother, anybody who was in the religious sect of Sadducees and Pharisees. And he was no respecter of persons, because he knew his mission. He knew what he was here to do. And the Bible says that he came as an example from the Father, that if we seen him, that we have seen the Father. That he came and went to that cross and was buried on the third day and was rose. And that we should live not by no other standards but a belief system. But there's a whole slew of ideologies out there, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers of darkness sitting in high places. Now that's ideologies. We're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against the ideology that someone has taken on inside of their mind. And they have believed and been deceived and been conditioned since the day they came out of that womb. Now, grant you, it's not all my parents' fault. I honor thy mother and father. It's the 4th commandment in God's 10 commandments, because these are his statutes and judgments, and this is who he really is. This is the truth, that we bear witness of the Lord. Now, if we've broken any of those commandments, we have been guilty of breaking them all. Now, my conscience tells me right from wrong. If I have not been seared by the conditioning of this world and taken on the patterns of this world. It is our whole duty, Romans 12 says, that we should be a holy and living sacrifice unto God. That's our whole duty. Mind, body, and soul. What are you doing with yourself? The hardest question we have to ask here is, what have I ever done to make my life better? Now, there's a little tidbit in every single person that their conscience is convicting them of whatever is right and whatever is wrong. And if I walk into a store right now, this very instant, knowingly or unknowingly and willingly, and I have no awareness, I'm not consciously aware of what I'm doing, and I walk in there and just say, oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to steal this candy bar. And I do steal it. I just steal it from no apparent belief system, and I walk outside and I'm convicted. Now, what has convicted my conscience to make me believe that I did wrong? Now, if we're just here by mere chance and we're all here by evolution and stardust and then this new age fooey, whatever Hollywood's projecting on society these days, where did that conviction come from? I can't sit here and tell you that it came from my own being. Something obviously told it to me, because I heard it. And I was convicted within my own mind. Now, let's say I push that conviction aside and I just decide, oh, that was nothing. Because I've never practiced it, I've never become aware enough to understand that that was God trying to tell me I did something wrong. But I just continue doing it. So obviously, I've just separated myself even further than I was before, because I acted upon something that had a real force in my life. So I just continued to steal, and further along, until I hit rock bottom. Now, I've stolen to the point where I don't even have a place to live, and I've stolen to a point where I don't even have a vehicle, a job, because it's ruined my life. Now, I've been convicted this whole time. Now, I've just been given over to stealing. Now, the commandment says, thou shalt not steal. Why is this to hurt me? Why do people get so offended when you say those things? Because their demons are being irritated by the truth, because whatever pattern they're stuck in is what they have believed for so long that it's called conditioning. And this happens